All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rekahak, Badash, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth and ruling well. Also, would like to give double honors to the high priest, man, who taught them peace, blessings, salutations to the Akiyam, who are putting on as the elect, who are striving for perfection and that crown of righteousness by being obedient to what is written inside these scriptures. Shalom. This is your brother Kasad at GMS Austin. Just wanted to go into a lesson on how the Lord examines the inward parts. All right. The Lord is always examine the inward parts. All right. Let's get this right quick. This is Hebrews 4:12. Just in the NLT translation, it says, "For the word of Yahweh is alive and powerful; it is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, cutting between the soul and spirit, between joint and marrow. It exposes our innermost thoughts and desires." All right, so it goes into the innermost parts of us, our thoughts and our desires, our wants and our needs. All right, so if we have individuals who are, undergoing afflictions, thorns in their sides, that is restricting their mobility to be able to come out and preach or whatnot. The Lord understands your heart if that's your will, if that's what the Lord has created you to do, So he knows that, with what you have, you still being a follower of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, if you're being obedient and following after what these scriptures say. There's many offices inside of this ministry. Now, everybody's going to be standing up on 10 toes, bringing out the precepts, preaching and teaching these scriptures, prophesying. It's going to be a lot happening behind the scenes, inside of this church, inside of this ministry. All right, but this is Sirach 23:19. Get some precepts is going into that, man. This is not of us. This is of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. This is of the Spirit. It's Sirach 23:19. It says, "Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts." All right, so the Lord sees you when you think nobody else sees you, The Lord is always beholding you and what's going on, how you operating, how you treat that person, how you treat this person. We're not always going to be in the spirit, but we ought to strive for this. Fight to be in the spirit. Fight to be in the faith. Walk after the spirit. Walking after the flesh is death, as the scriptures talks about. All right? But the Lord knows if you're being obedient when ain't nobody else is listening. All right? You're being disciplined, living a life that these scriptures has promoted us to live. It's told us to live like, man. All right? It says, I'm going to continue on in this. It says, "Beholding all the ways of man and considering the most secret parts, he knew all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. This man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he suspected not, he shall be taken," man. So the Lord is not dealing with actors and characters, hypocrites, people who are wanting just to be seen. All right. The Lord is looking at people who are sincere and really in this truth, man. This Galatians 5:17. It says, "For the flesh lusted after the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary, the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." Okay, so being in this flesh, it's a constant battle. All right. That's why it's a fight always going on. Even when you out in public or when you behind closed doors, it's a fight to take you out the spirit. 18 says, "But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, adultery, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envying, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, man. Walking after the flesh is only going to equal death. All right. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, and peace, long suffering, gentleness, godliness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law, man. So the Lord wants us to operate by the fruits of the Spirit. 24 says, and they that are Yahweh Shai Mashiachs are anointed, have crucified the flesh with the affections and the lusts. All right. I mean, fasting, putting off the flesh, the desires, the wants of it, and walking in the Spirit. It's 25 says, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envy in one another, man. So vainglory is what comes out of walking in the flesh. All right. Wanting to be seen, wanting to be that guy and everything. There was a rapper that, of course, is no longer around, a wicked rapper. His name was Shorty Low. And he had a song that said, ain't I? It was all about glorifying himself. Ain't I this? Ain't I that? And, and it was just a boastful, prideful song, man. We are the opposite of that, man. We thinking of others before we think of ourselves. How not how good that brother is bringing out that precept. Nah, man, you want to be remembered in the heavens on how good you stood stiffly at the end of the day for this word, for the righteousness and everything, man. So we're not here to glorify ourselves, but we are here to do the will of the Father, of our Father who sent us. And understanding that the Lord is looking on our inward parts and ultimately, has already written this story out. So you have to be obedient. So the things that you might want, all right, it might not be the things that the Lord wants. Like Yahweh Shai in the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, but let your will be done at the end of the day. He said, but if this cup can pass from me, if it's your will, let it be done, but not my will. All right. So it's always going to be the will of the Lord. When it comes down to it, it's 1 Samuel 16:1, just going into how the Lord is looking at the inward parts again. It says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul? Going into the assault of Yahweh sending Samuel the prophet to Jesse, who is King David's father, all right, to anoint him. All right, so 1 Samuel 16:1 says, and the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. So King David was predestined to be a king ultimately, before Samuel even knew, before King David even knew. All right, this is the will of the Heavenly Father. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord Yahweh said, take an heifer with thee and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord Yahweh, and call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the Lord Yahweh spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming and said, comest thou peacefully, man? Because the Lord's prophets are coming to bring judgment when you see them. All right. Or if it's coming to bring the blessing and the anointing. All right. And this world will soon know that a prophet has been among them, because we're bringing out that truth. We're being diligent and standing for righteousness. That's just another lesson. But continuing on in 5, it says, and he said, peacefully, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord Yahweh. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on the countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh see it not as man see it. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord Yahweh looketh on the heart, man. So through these scriptures, you're going to see accounts on how the Lord is looking at your heart. All right. He's looking at what you're doing, when nobody else is looking. He's looking at your inward thoughts and your desires, and it's all through this word, man. What he has laid before us, this book of life and this book of death. Is this man meditated upon his word? Is he really doing these things when nobody else is looking? Man, the Lord knows his true followers. He knows his flock. At the end of the day, this is Matthew 23:5. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess," man, full of shit when it comes down to it. 26 says, "Thou blind Pharisees, cleanses first that which is within the cup and platter, and that the outside of them may be clean also." So get your inward parts right before you getting your outward parts back right, and they like to say in the world, man, that's ass backwards. You fixing up the inward parts of the car or the outward parts of the car. You never even got the engine right. You never even got the interior right. You ain't never got the real important part of the car right. But the outside, you didn't put all sorts of candy this and candy that on it, but the car ain't going nowhere. All right. So you ask backwards. So it says, "Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also." It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like unto white sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and all uncleanness," man. And ultimately, these things will begin to show. All right, because what's on the inside will come out of the abundance of the heart. The mouth speaks. The scriptures talks about, man. This is Mark 12:38. Going into this account, it says, "And he said unto them in his doctrine, Beware the scribes, which love to go in long clothing and love salutations in the marketplace." So understanding the will of the Lord when it comes down to it, man. All right, you come to serve the Lord, you have to understand what is required. What is the Lord asking of me to do? To teach, to preach, to be behind the scenes, ministering, to be a help. What am I to do? All right, what is the path that he's placed me on? All right, according to these scriptures, man, it should line up perfectly for you, because you know the things that you are undergoing, the things you can do, the things you can't do. What the Lord has placed in you at the end of the day, that portion of faith. And it says, "And the chief seats." It says, "And the chief seats in this." It says, I'm starting at the top. This is Mark 12:38. It says, "And he said unto them in his doctrine, Beware the scribes, which love to go in long clothing and love salutations in the marketplace." All right, looking nice. All right, I mean, not just nice, but they glorifying in the niceness. There's nothing wrong with looking nice and having nice. So once again, this is Mark 12:38. He says, "And he said unto them in his doctrine, Beware the scribes, which love to go in long clothing and love salutations in the marketplaces," man. All right. Like I said, it's nothing wrong with looking nice. All right. But they want to be seen at the end of the day. 39 says, "And the chief seats in the synagogues and the utmost part rooms at the feast," man. The Lord Yahweh Shah, the one who we follow, came lowly, man, in the form of a servant, meek and humble. All right. Meek and humble. At the end of the day, he said he told his mother and his father, who was marrying Joseph, that I don't want to butcher it. Let me grab it. Luke 2:48. All right, 2:48, straight to the point. All right, because this is a business, and it's not our business. It's our Father's business. All right, it says, and when, let's see, Luke 2:48, it says, "And when they saw him, who is Mary and Joseph, and when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing." All right, now because Yahweh Shah was 12 at this time in his youth. 49, he said unto them, "How is it that ye sought me? Wish ye not that I must be about my father's business?" So know ye not that I must be about my father's business? When it comes down to it, that's why I was sent here, to do the will of my Father. All right. So this is what Yahweh Shai has said, man. So let's get back into it. This is Mark 12 and 40 and 39. It says, "And the chief seats in the synagogues and the utmost parts of the room and the feast." So they're not, Yahweh Shai didn't come in that highly, state and riding on a horse. I'm the man. He came in the form of a servant. He said, I've come as a man this time. And 40 says, "Which devour widows' houses and for a pretense make long prayers, these shall receive a greater damnation." Man, at the end of the day, they will be judged. They will be judged. 41 says, "And Yahweh shall set over against the treasury and beheld how the people cast money into the treasury. And many that were rich cast in much." Man, money is also symbolic inside these scriptures as His truth, as His wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right. So it says many are rich with what they have, and they cast money into the treasury, and many that were rich cast in much. It says, "And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw and 2 mites, which make a farthing, which equals equivalent to a penny." And 43 says, "And he called unto him his disciples, and said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that this poor widow have cast more in than all they which have cast into the treasury. For all they did cast in of their abundance, but she of her want did cast in all that she had, even all her living." Man. All right. So as the Lord is looking upon your inward parts, all right, as He's searching out your thoughts, examining you and everything, He understands, what is your sacrifice sincere at the end of the day? Are you giving all you got of what the Lord has given you? All right, or are you just giving out of your abundance? Like I know I got the breakdowns from of the whole book of Revelations. All right. So I'm just gonna, do this right quick now. But are you operating inside these scriptures and giving all you got, man? That's what it comes down to. This is what the Lord is looking at. This is Romans 12 and 3. It says, "For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as Yahweh has dealt to every man the measure of faith." Man. All right. So understanding that it's the Lord who is dealt to every man that own measure of faith. All right. "For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and every one members one of another." Man. So we not of the same. We don't have the same office, but we are the same body. All right. 6 says, "Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the portion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministry, or he that teaches on teaching." Man. So ministry, you might minister by cooking food. All right, bringing water, doing things. The scriptures talks about him that gives a drink to a prophet receives a prophet's reward, man. All right, man. Ultimately, this is the Lord's show. He has designed and set up all these roles to be fulfilled. All right. And 7 says, "Or ministry, let us wait." Let me grab this right quick, because man, you having faith the size of a mustard seed. All right. And this is why we not to think more highly of ourselves, man. Understanding that the Lord is in control, and we always praying daily that the Lord takes not this spirit away from us, take not this faith away from us, man. All right, because this is a gift that the Lord has blessed us with. Matthew 17 and 20 says, "And Yahweh shall say unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as the grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto the mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you." Man, having the faith, as the grain of a mustard seed, man. It's one of the smallest seeds on the planet. All right. So the Lord has given us our own measure of the faith that He wants us to be operating in. And He understands and knows how much faith we are operating in. So if you getting stricken with all sorts of bodily afflictions, okay, and all you do is put Shalom, Akiyam, Yahweh Bashim Shai, Barakathum on the comment board, man, the Lord understands that, oh, that brother's giving his all. All right. That brother ride by the camp and he humped. Shalom, Akiyam, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Barakathum. That brother is showing his faith and his diligence, man. And that's up to the Lord, to decide when it comes down to it, man. The Spirit will let it be known. All right, let's keep it going. This is Philippians 2:12 in closing. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence." All right, when ain't nobody looking. All right, when you by yourself and you're lonely, what are you doing? It says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. At the end of the day, you ain't getting in on nobody else's works. You're not getting caught up in the chariots. You're not getting delivered, your household delivered by what anybody else is doing, but by what you're doing. If you're doing the will of the Father, you being about the Father's business. All right, what He has called you to do at the end of the day. So, just want to do a quick lesson and perfectly just edifying, uplifting to the body. Want to get up out of here before I leave. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth and ruling well. And peace, blessings, salutations to the Akion, put known as the elect. Shalom.